This is a fairly nicely quartered piece of walnut. I'm gonna take a plane and get this paint off this surface, and I'm gonna try to true this up. Square it up, all that jazz. And the thing with it is, what I'm doing now is, the surface was probably put on the paint with a brush. So it's uneven, and the plane if I set it too deep, it'll just start gouging the wood. It'll be hard to remove. It'll be hard to push across the surface. So I'm just in actuality, what I can do is back that up. Is come across. And this is like a 3/4 inch, 1 inch thick. Piece of stock. And I could have sanded this off. Probably would have been easier, but I could have took like a random orbit sander and sanded it off, but where's the fun in that? Where's the joy in that? I really don't need to worry about this end because I'm going to be cutting it to length, but just well. I think what we need is a sharpening standby. If you start having trouble with a planers or any other edge tool for that matter, there's a couple things with a hand plane. You might get stuff up underneath the blade or the frog if the plane is not set up properly, that kind of thing, or you might end up finding out that really all you needed was to sharpen the tool. That that paint that was on here was hard on the edge, and I ended up having to go back and sharpen it. And all I'm doing now is trying to make sure I have an absolutely flat surface. This will go down on, this side will go down onto the neck blank, and I want it flat, not kind of flat. But all the way flat, like that. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the side that has the most defects in it, and I'm trying to, yeah, I cut that, I squared that off pretty good. This does not have to be super square because it'll get cut away in forming or shaping the fretboard, but I still want to do the best I can do. The first thing I want to do is make sure I put a mark here and here, because that's where I'm going to be cutting this to length. And so I want to make sure and what I'm doing is I want this square. So it was high on this side. So I take the plane and I lay it all the way over to this side, so that all of the cutting power is on that side. That makes it straight, square. And now I'm going to go down the center. Beautiful. Yeah. That's what we want. And I'm going to do this side as well. And I'll do the same thing again. Well, that's flipping dead square there. I wonder what it is like down here. Dead square. So I don't even need to hit this. Now what I want to do is I want to take this surface and flatten and smooth it. I really don't have to flatten this too much. I want it to be at least flat that way, because I'll be putting a camber, hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm just checking something. I'll be putting a radius in the top of this. And so I want it to be, and it isn't, nice and flat, at least in that direction. What's it look like here? Okay, what I have is a situation where this part is high along here and then it starts to get low. So I'm just gonna work on cleaning this surface first. Flat. Flat. With a little bit there. Lovely. Yeah, I want to take a little bit. I'm going to increase the blade depth just a bit. All right. Gorgeous. When you back an iron back on a plane, what you'll find with a lot of them, particularly the old Stanleys and Records and Dunlops and whatever else you find, Craftsman, is that you'll back it back and this dial will be loose. And you want to turn this dial back until you start getting resistance. Otherwise, what happens is this is loose and this is loose, and when you go to cut, the iron is going to slide back and you're going to have issues that you don't need or want when it comes to stuff like that. So what I'm going to do now, where's that pencil? Yeah, is I'm going to come right along here. Which one of these is the one that, I know that this side is square as well, but I still want to use the side that I squared up myself. I'm going to go like that. I want to looking for the reference face. Now this is a rip cut saw, but the teeth are fine enough. Hang on a minute. Lovely. The teeth are fine enough that it doesn't, that's not a bad cut at all. Now I'll true this up on the shooting board before we go. After I cut it to thickness and plane it, then I will true these edges so that I know that it is absolutely square. I know that there's a measurement, unaccepted size for fret blanks from places like Stuart McDonald and LMI. But what I did with this, I don't even know what the length is. I just put this up against the fretboard that I knew, a fretboard of the same scale length that I wanted. That's lovely. The instrument to be a one that I already have, and that's the way that worked. So let's cut this to thickness. And what we're going to do, have a marking gauge. This is about 3/4 of an inch, and I want a 1/4 inch fretboard, so a 1/4 inch is 4/16. What I'm going to do, this is going to be the bottom surface of this fretboard, and I'm going to come, I have this at 7/16, and I'm going to come along, mark this edge, I'm going to mark it as deep as I can and as well as I can, and I chose 7/16 because I want room for the saw curve, and I want room to smooth it all out and plane it. I'll sneak up on my thickness. So that I don't go too thin. Now I could plane all of this off, but there's a lot of it, and honestly, doesn't make any sense to do that to me. So I'm gonna put this in the vise. This is the waist. I might have to start with that smaller rip there, but I'm going to try with this to start first. I know the saw curve will take a certain amount. I love the smell of walnut. We're just going to do this until we rip this board to the thickness that we're looking for. Now if I'd have had a mine tooth, I could literally have ripped this on the table saw and been done with it by now. But the hand tools are where it's at for me as much as possible. I will use power tools like a router and a drill. But if I can use a hand tool and be fairly efficient about it, why in the world not? Alright, I've got this unevenness here. We're going to back this plane up a bit. We're going to take we're going to take this down. Now I could clamp this. What I want to do is I want to go the length of this, and so clamping would prevent me from doing that. Now want to look at the board, make sure that we're not getting lopsided. And yeah, I'm just using a ruler. We're not looking at calipers or anything of the sort. It doesn't really, it's not that flipping critical, let's put it that way. And I'd say that we're there. Let's it's 2.5 inches wide by 1/4 inch thick. That's a fretboard. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.